subscribe, and ring the bell to never miss an update.
Hello everyone! Today on Lady Mary Beth, we're back at the Franklin Antique Mall in Franklin, Tennessee. Can't wait to take you along and discover treasures together. Join me. It's always good to be back at the Franklin Antique Mall. They're located in downtown Franklin, Tennessee. It was originally the old Franklin Ice House, 12,000 square feet. Welcome to the Franklin Antique Mall. Can't wait to take you inside. I have some of my favorite areas of the store, and let's see what they've got for us today. I always enjoy walking into this room on the left. They have some really neat tabletop items and even some small furniture pieces. These mugs I think are really neat. Wouldn't that be great to start your day? And it is the Queen's China in the Hooker's Fruit design. And I did look at replacements. These are about $14 each. So $10 a mug is fair. And I think that's really a great gift as well. Waterford crystal, that's only one salt shaker. My cousin in Louisville, Kentucky has recently asked me to look for Waterford crystal salt and pepper, but I didn't know when I was shopping this day. You know, there's always a nice Waterford surprise here at the Franklin Antique Mall, and I found a Waterford crystal glandor, half of a salt and pepper shaker set, and it's got that leaf design up top. It's lovely, and it's $10, so that would be a nice addition. And I found a gorgeous Gorham Chantilly pattern faux cake pedestal. Look at that detail. This would be a really nice addition to your tabletop essentials, and it's $65. Really is quite a spectacular piece. I can even see a candle there with maybe a garland and so many possibilities. It reminds me of the Strasbourg pattern, but it is marked as Chantilly, which is very similar. $65. I really like that. Not only is it a good cake stand, but just so many ways to display this and utilize with attention to detail. This Victorian marble top table reminds me of a piece that's in our family, but we're really looking at the tea set today, and I will tell you a little bit more about that. And love the finial. That's what gives it away. I know immediately it's Noritake. A very fine china, and I did find a similar pattern at Resale with a Purpose in Dallas, and we'll link that segment so you can take a look at that. Isn't that a gorgeous finial? Just love it. And it's priced right too, $45 for 21 pieces. If I had been driving, I definitely would have taken this home, but I have so many tea sets, I'll let someone else discover it. This, I think, is the deal of the day. It's a Noritake tea set, and they are known for their beautiful finials. You probably have seen my bamboo tea that I hosted, and it is such a great price. For the entire set, it is $45. Cups and saucers and a sugar and creamer. What a great deal. I would love to hear from you in the comments if you might have purchased this set had we been shopping together on this day. Such a lovely finial. And now I see a familiar shaped teacup. This is the Shelley, and it's got a fluted saucer and a very distinct shape. And look at that attention to detail with the blue rim and handle. The miniature florals are a nice touch. Be a great addition to your teacup collection at $24. Now let's take a look at this drop leaf mahogany table. My daughter had been looking for a table to serve as a desk and for dining. And at $175, this I would have picked up in a heartbeat. We shopped all the area antique stores, thrift shops, and we came up short. So we ended up at a retail store and spent far too much money. Look at these Currier and Ives silver-plated coasters for $12. I like that they're oversized. And in this case, we have some small items, a couple of teacups, and I'm looking at this Loch Ness Monster trinket box. At $18, I should have taken this home, but I guess I just got too busy and forgot to go back to it with a crown. Quite the royal back stamp. And look at this creamer and sugar set for $10. That is a steal. It looks to be fine porcelain. It has a series of numbers instead of a back stamp, and would make a wonderful gift. And I sometimes look for furniture when I'm out antique shopping. I like the attention to detail at the top. Lots of opportunity to display and even some storage down below. And it is very well priced at $165. There's an imperfection on the back, but obviously you don't see that. It's a corner cabinet. And you could definitely pick up some Restore a Finish, which is available at hardware stores, and even I've seen this at an antique store before, and you can make it come back to life. This piano bench has a lovely needlepoint cushion, $110. That's something you don't see too often. And I'm always looking at teapots, and this I recognize as Wedgwood. And it is not the fine porcelain, it's more of the faience or everyday. Beautiful back stamp. It's the Stratford pattern. And I think that's a really good price at $25. And some silver tea sets. And I'm looking at the Belique here. Of course, I collected. I have a friend, Cassidy, who loves her Belique collection. I'm always looking for pieces. Both of these have a chip. It's $10 for the set, which is not a lot. And I'm thinking that could be used to make some beautiful jewelry, especially for a Belique collector. And I probably should have picked this up. Lots of possibilities there. And the back stamp can be saved as well. You can make that into a bracelet, a pendant. And you probably see me feature that on social media. There's a company in Houston that I like to shop at, China Baroque. And this section, they always have some beautiful crystal vintage glass. And it does not disappoint today. Let's take a look at this cut to clear set. $30 each. It's the Harlequin colored stemware. And I looked online, and actually that is very well priced. You do see them a bit higher. I really like that. And this picture is nice because it's kind of a shorter one. It would be great for juice on your breakfast table. It has the sawtooth rim. Look at that cut crystal. This is definitely an antique. And I find that pictures are very well priced. And at first glance, I'm thinking this is Parker Lane from Mikasa, but it's actually the Ritz. You'll notice the difference is you have space between the stem and the bowl of the glass. And that's a different pattern, similar to Messina from Baccarat. And there's some more beautiful cut to clear in the amethyst. This is a color that's very hard to find. It's often priced quite high on the secondary market. $20 is a good deal. Villeray & Bach, how about that? Mexicana pattern, I have not seen that. $24. I'm thinking you could fill that with breadsticks. Keep in mind, the wider the opening, the more flowers you have to place inside, so it can become costly when you're entertaining and setting up your home. $24. Cambridge Rose Point, creamer and sugar, love that. And the Millennium Collection. These are the balloon wines from Waterford Crystal, and you'll see that design. It's actually wheat, and it symbolizes prosperity. And that was just one in the series of Millennium Collection. And this picture they have marked as Waterford. That cross-cut reminds me of the Ballyshannon pattern. Have not seen this in person before. Not familiar with that. Another beautiful picture. This one is a steal at $26. Look at that gorgeous cut crystal. You know, I just don't understand. People go to box stores, spend $50 on a glass pitcher. Spend $26 and you have something that actually shows off American craftsmanship and times gone by. The green Wedgwood Jasperware is not as collectible as the blue, but I actually think it goes with more. It's very soothing neutral, and at $14, this heart-shaped covered box is a steal. What I didn't realize is where the price tag meets the base, you see a small chip. And I didn't realize it until I was packaging that up for a friend, and I gave it to him anyway, but I did mention that I had not seen that. And there's lots of stemware that you find in antique shops and thrift stores as well. Exquisite things from another era. The Tiffin Rambler Rose at $10 a stem. And I think the generations today prefer something easy care, dishwasher safe, but you can't have that beauty. And look at these Hummel lamps at $95. I think that's a fair price. And you could add your own shades. Of course, the original shades probably wouldn't even be usable anymore today, and the style was probably not what you would prefer anyway. Apple Blossom Girl, so sweet. And the wall clock, I think either a mantle or wall is a nice item to add to your decor. I think it gives some credibility to your home and style, and it keeps you on time. And the RA stands for Retard in Advance. And I absolutely adore Barley Twist furniture. That is from England. This is an umbrella stand. And you probably saw my Barley Twist teacup cabinet I featured, and I talk a little bit about the history of that. A great piece. And here's some more crystal treasures that you have seen. And now we're going to go into the mid-century room. They have lots of colored glassware, barware, and these ruby candle holders I think would be perfect for any season. And the Delft miniature creamer. That is sweet. If you're on the Lady Mary Beth's Table Facebook group page, you'll remember Trudy from the Netherlands, and she shares a lot of her Delft pieces. This room here has some Hollywood glamour and a bit of a royal touch. They often have crowns for sale. Such a nice variety. I really, really like to shop this. And then they have some of the Depression glass. These goblets are $75 for 8 of them. And I could even see a parfait inside those. I actually have these same glasses. If you'd like to see Depression glass, maybe I could feature some of my collection, incorporating that into a table setting. Just let me know if you'd like to see that. Lots of treasures to discover. I even see an Italian jewelry box there. Now we're in another room where they have some newer items, chinoiserie. Of course, we all love the blue and white. And I especially like how they utilize that cloche with the simple fern. And the tulipier, that looks to be a newer one. And they tell you, of course, what it's used for. I love that. And you get some ideas in decorating as well when you're looking at some of these booths that have kind of a combination of new and vintage. 50%, I sure like that. And this blue and white pattern, that would be a good deal. That would be about $9.50. And I find lots of treasures here. I can't wait to show you some of these. If I had been driving instead of flying to Tennessee, I definitely would have purchased a lot more. Cake stands, of course, you can always use those. A nice teacup to add to your collection. Look at that gold rim. That would be $9.50 as well. And this is my one regret today, besides the Loch Ness Monster trinket box, that I couldn't take this home. For just a little over $20, fill that with fruit, bring it to a new neighbor, or just enjoy it at home. Fill it with strawberries. Absolutely an incredible piece, and I'll tell you more about that.
This booth is having a sale. Many of the items are 50% off, and I want you to consider antique shops for great gifts as well. Look at this fabulous bowl. Isn't that just gorgeous? Something from the past. It's actually from the 1930s. It's from the new Martinsville Glass Company. It's the Radiance pattern, and it is $43.50, and half price is a little over $20. Would make a great gift. And here's a pink Depression glass bowl. It's actually from Heisey, so it's elegant glass of the Depression era. And at half price, that would be $7.25. Great gift ideas.
Here's another look at that gorgeous bowl. It is oversized, I don't know if you can tell. And just think about it, it's almost 100 years old. And I love how they feature the green with the desert rose and the pink elegant glass. And of course, when it's on sale, even better. That's a sweet dish. That would be $7.25. You could even use that as a jewelry dish on your dresser. And anything from Heisey is fantastic. And this is a miniature little pedestal. It could even be considered a compote. And if you are serving your jam in the morning, even if it's just for yourself without company, place it on top. And this booth has some gorgeous seashells, and one that definitely catches my eye. Let's take a look at this. I could see it from across the room. It's 20% off of $25. It's glass. Well, it's actually crystal.
I love seashells, and when I saw these in the booth along with this beautiful pink Depression glass, I made a beeline for this section. And then I saw a crystal starfish, which I immediately knew was Baccarat French crystal. So I peeled back the label. It's marked down to $20. And I found the acid etched stamp. So this is definitely going home with me, and such a great find today.
I featured this fabulous find on Instagram as I was sitting at the airport in Nashville, and my cousin in Louisville, Kentucky messaged me that he would love to have this to add to his coffee table look. He's got a beautiful piece of Steuben. Maybe he'll let me share that picture on social media. I sure hope so. The Waterford Crystal Peacock Centerpiece Bowl. It came out in 1994, and that was part of the Designer's Gallery collection, and it was made by Martin. At least he was one of the designers. And the 50th anniversary gift seems like a good idea at the time, but really it's not something you use. I would stay away from that. And this is a piece of cut crystal. You see the notched rim, that's definitely European, but in shape, it somehow reminds me of mid-century. It's triple-footed. And this primitive piece at first looks like something you would maybe not covet. $8,795. If you find one of these in your basement, you definitely want to look into that. A German work table from the 1800s. And in Round Top, Texas, they have an antique show twice a year, and they're known for primitives. This booth always has beautiful things. That piece of furniture on the right, you may recognize. I featured it here. It was located in that same booth, but kind of a little different, kind of dead center, you might recall. And the china patterns I featured as well. This transferware is from England. Absolutely gorgeous. From Keeling. And of course the Dresden figurines. You probably have seen those, but I must say it's not often that you find them in an antique shop. And they're made in Eastern Germany. This is that Victorian display case, kind of an etagere. And it's got the original velveteen on the shelves. That lining is just absolutely gorgeous. And that's an item I've had lots of requests for since I featured this, $5,995. And you would definitely need to have professional movers. It's a stunning piece. I really enjoy opalescent glass. These are some pieces from Fenton, and I'm sure some other manufacturers. It's not the traditional hobnail, so probably we're looking at different glass factories. And at $25, that's an item you could definitely add for your home and table. It definitely brings joy. I have opalescent in the green and pink as well. And the Dresden figurines, they're made in the porcelain factory that is called Meissen, in the town of Meissen. And of course, Dresden is just down the road. These were made from 1710 until present day. $275. I have been to Dresden, and I actually purchased a pendant that's made of Meissen porcelain, and I really like how they made that into jewelry. Bombay & Company made this set, and I did find the coffee pot and all the other parts and pieces at an estate sale. This is a vintage lemonade pitcher. You're probably thinking, why is it covered? And at $35, that's a steal. And the reason that it has a lid is because oftentimes lemonade or iced tea would have been served on the front porch, and you didn't want flies coming into your beverage pitcher. This blue willow traditional pattern teapot is Sadler, and I knew right away. You see that gold finial. I've seen that before with Sadler. And there it is. Beautiful back stamp with the crown. And that's $35. Sadler makes some whimsical teapots as well. Have lots of those in my collection. And if you're setting up a household, this really would be a good opportunity to add not only some furniture accent pieces, but also some fine china. It almost makes you wish you could do a bridal registry at the Franklin Antique Mall. This is the Kutani crane pattern from Wedgwood. Beautiful blue goblets, or maybe those are votive holders. And the Orifers Corona bowl, $75. That is a larger one. And look at this Murano ruffled vase, $75, and it's hand blown. And everything on the island of Murano is very pricey, so that's actually quite fair. Gorgeous, rich ruby china. And this stemware reminds me of rainfall. I really like that. It adds interest, and it's from Gorham. And even though Gorham is an American company, these were made in the Nachtmann factory in Germany. 9 glasses for $126. And they have different sizes, not only the flutes, but also some white wine, lots of different pieces, saucer champagnes. Love those. They're perfect for desserts. And I would probably not buy the smaller glass that's maybe for port wine or sherry. I would go for the saucer champagnes, maybe even over the flutes, because it opens up more possibilities for using. $25 for the sugar and creamer blue willow, and $65 for the teapot. That really is a nice one. Look at the handle. It's probably Churchill or Johnson Brothers, a classic pattern. This is the #1 pattern for Replacements Limited. It is Blue Garland from Haviland. Some of the later pieces were made in Thailand, so you'll want to look at the back stamp. I have quite a large collection, but actually I don't use it right now. I have it packed up. It has a platinum rim. My mother actually gifted me with a large soup tureen for my birthday one year, and I've only seen it that one time. Never again. She actually purchased it at Rummel Creek Antiques. A familiar harvest pattern from the Indiana Glass Company. It's in the carnival glass iridescent look, and these tumblers are quite nice for iced tea, because you know in the South we fill it with ice first before we pour in the beverage, and that's a mid-century look. And amongst all the little knickknacks here, we find a Waterford Crystal Golfer. This came out in 1994, and it retailed at the time for about $99. And that is a retired, hard-to-find item. Definitely a fair price. The Waterford Colleen, that's a classic pattern, $30, is a very good price. They now make the tall Colleen as well. And this square ring holder at $35 is very good, I would say. For that, you probably would pay about $85 retail. And the Peace flutes from the Millennium Collection. And we have some of my favorite milk glass, and of course, who doesn't love a punch bowl? Especially when it's on sale. Even though this is milk glass, it is not the traditional solid milk glass. You'll notice it's a bit translucent, opaque. It is not the dead white, as they call it, which would be solid white. And I love this set. It's a harvest pattern as well, $129.95 with 12 cups. We'll talk more about milk glass down the line. And here now we're on the other side of the store. There's always something to discover here. I see the familiar Ray Dunn teapot. I see the mugs in Goodwill all the time, but I don't really see the teapot at $28. It's quite nice. Not exactly my style, but interesting. And I think this mint background on these dishes adds a lot of interest. Now that I'm in tune with making jewelry out of China, at least I take it to my favorite shop to have them make it. The calyx ware, $24 for that piece, you could turn that into a beautiful bracelet. I know. I do focus on that a lot because it's something that interests me. Here's some more milk glass. And I even see hobnail. Look at these pieces. Love the basket. It's even got a little foot on it. Fill that with flowers or even some mints, and you've got a nice look. The classic blue willow. And look at these coasters. It's got a neat back stamp. Does it say where it is? It looks like almost Brussels, but yet these other ones are Aachen, which is a German town that's on the Dutch border. I like these coasters. They're even good for using as a ring dish. Some old looks there. And they have something for the equestrian lovers and for men. I think that's really neat that they have some of the old world pieces that are mid-century. I think my grandma had some of these in the double old-fashioned size. $96 for 4. I know she would have definitely sold her double old-fashions. Those are really neat. Not a pattern that I see very often. And some more barware. This is gold rimmed. And I'm featuring this because of the collie. We had a collie named Robbie. He was a big part of our family, and unfortunately we lost him. And that creamer is really neat for $15. You could even put that on a shelf. It would be an item of interest. Fill it with flowers. Even for your morning tea with cream, that would be something kind of fun if you had company. And I'm definitely thinking I should have bought that for the Houston Collie Rescue for one of their auctions. And I love how they took a printer's tray here and they filled it with some cufflinks. You know, that's kind of something not as popular anymore, but why not? Especially for men that want to add some panache. I think that's really something that you don't see as often anymore. If you wanted to go to one of the box stores to buy cufflinks, I think you would not have any luck there. They have a nice variety of flow blue. If you're not familiar with that, it is a type of antique china transferware. It has sort of a hazy quality about it. It was originally a mistake. And it's quite a nice contrast against that white background. Highly collectible today. That plate is $45. And here we have a bell collection. I'm thinking maybe they acquired this at an estate sale to have so many. And they're actually practical. We keep one on our bedside table. Beautiful milk glass cake stand and Pyrex. Highly collectible. Some of these pieces go for big bucks. And this side of the store has some natural light, which I really like, especially if you happen to find a beautiful crystal vase with that Hobstar design, the notched rim. It is definitely European. I would say Eastern European, maybe from Poland or Romania. Look at these napkin holders. Those are neat. They're made of porcelain, and I think I would be a little bit nervous to have those on the table. Maybe for a ladies' luncheon. This cut glass pitcher, $60, sort of like a champagne pitcher. It's tall and thin and narrow, and I'm thinking that would be great for mimosas when you're serving champagne. Fill it with orange juice. From Mikasa, the Park Lane pattern. That is classic, copied from the Messina Baccarat. And they look to be $24 each. They're half price today, and that's a very good price. I have friends that have this pattern, and it goes with everything. And in this booth, we have lots of different china plates. It gives me so many ideas now that I'm in tune with so many different ways to use pieces of china. I think I need to go back to the Franklin Antique Mall. These plates could even be Lenox. Beautiful. And the mugs, really interesting. I'm surprised to find the yellow. It almost looks Swedish. And they are made in Britain, which is kind of ironic because it's the Statue of Liberty. Love it. $9.95 each. I think that's great. And some Waterford crystal, different manufacturers here. Get a glimpse of Franklin, Tennessee through the window. And the Waterford crystal bride and groom. I purchased this at Shop Goodwill. I have this in my collection, but of course, long after I got married. That would be $50 today. Too heavy to use as a cake centerpiece. You could display it. And look at this Celtic design. It is Galway crystal. And it has that little sticker there. So many beautiful things here. The pair of lamps. I think I could design a room around these. Maybe even a bedroom. And this chinoiserie vase, I can hardly believe it. Is that $95? I would expect it to be a lot more expensive than that. So much detail there. And look at that brass square base on the lamps. It almost looks like Ainsley, even though I know it's not. And I just have to show you their really neat sign, Franklin Antique Mall. Love this place. It's the highlight every time I'm in town. And some silver items, but I'm looking at the lamps right now, and of course this one catches my eye. And no need to wonder why, because it's Waterford crystal. And it's in perfect condition. This came out when I was with Waterford, probably about '94. It's one of the first collections made in Germany. These brass lamps with the brand new shades. Fantastic. Just wish I were setting up a new household. I think that would be a fun way to shop.
Antique shops are a great source for lighting ware, and especially lamps. And the pair of brass lamps behind me, they're vintage Spur 3-way lamps, $289.95, and this vendor is having a 20% off sale today. And here's a Waterford Crystal Overture accent lamp. My friend Mark collects this pattern, and let's see if he wants me to bring it home. It is $149.95 and 20% off. Even if you find a lamp that maybe needs to be rewired, it's still very affordable to have that done. So keep in mind for antique shops when you're looking for lighting ware.
And my friend was so happy to have that Waterford crystal lamp. Now we're going to look at some Civil War items. Franklin is just south of Nashville, and it was a key site in the American Civil War. And there are several properties that you can visit. People come from all over. And it was the site of the Battle of Franklin in 1864. There's the Carter House, Carnton Plantation, and the Lotes House as well. And here you've got artifacts that have been dug up. They're from the Franklin area. And there's also the McGavick Confederate Cemetery that is in Franklin, next to Carnton. And lots of period pieces. You can also see furniture. You can visit these properties. And I guess you would say it's kind of rare to find these uniforms. And living in Houston, it's not something that we ever see. And of course, it's priced accordingly. $3,500 for the Federal Infantry hat. And it's original. It's not a reproduction. Yeah, just really, part of history. Now let's move on to some sterling silver and glass. These have a Gadroon border, $35, and they are weighted from the Duchenne Company. Those might have even had glass inserts, or might have been a base for a cake stand. I have some similar ones. This is from Bavaria. These bowls you do see often. They're quite beautiful, but they're actually more of a mid-range price point. Back then, it wasn't a luxury item. And it was a way to make your home a little bit fancier for company. And this depression glass piece, you can actually thread a ribbon through it. And I wouldn't do that if you're serving food, but maybe you have party favors to place on that, and that would be a way to embellish it and make it special. And these small glasses might be for a cordial. And, it could be a sherry, it could be even maybe a schnapps. $15.95. Those are harder to use these days because I think we're more into the mixed drinks, and the finer cordials are not often in use. I see some beautiful blue and white, and that's also Bombay and Company, a creamer and sugar, and that company does not exist anymore. Made in China, I'm not sure. I guess it's food safe because they've sold it as that, but really beautiful pieces here. And of course you could use that for storage as well, maybe a cookie jar. I found so many treasures here today, many of which I had to leave behind. I have a teapot that matches this willow with that beautiful gold edge. I found it at the Hope Chest resale near Houston, and it's a little out of my price range, $105.99, but it would have been a nice item to add to my teapot, and I would just use that with white dishes. Real old willow, and that's Royal Doulton. I also found a beautiful lace runner that was underneath a table with lots of things on top. I think most people missed it, so you'll see that as well. I'll share that. And my daughter was looking for one of these when we set up her college apartment. $175 is fair. Love the oval shape with beveled edge on that mirror. We ended up buying something more affordable at an estate sale. This is far prettier. Really like this piece.
Found some great items today at the Franklin Antique Mall. Baccarat, how about that? A starfish. And the Wedgwood Jasperware in green for a friend. I'm hand carrying that home to Houston. And the English lace runner I'm so happy about. And the Waterford Crystal Overture lamp for a friend. Thanks again for joining Lady Mary That. Elevate your everyday with antique shopping.